Welcome back, my road-worn romantics, my philosophers of the foldable chair and the dented can of chili. I'm Hobo Yeti, and today we're unpacking something a little less fun than a fresh pair of socks and a little more intimate than most folks are comfortable admitting. Now, before we dive in, let's, ground this in some cold, unblinking truth. As of the last count, over 653,000 people are homeless in the United States, the highest number ever recorded. And nearly 30% of those are chronically homeless, meaning they've been without stable housing for a year or more. This isn't a weekend detour. This is a long, slow erosion. And the journey through these stages, it isn't tidy. There is no set time frame. Some folks crash through all 7 in a month, others take years. But for most, and I do mean most, it takes well over a year to even approach acceptance. Because unlike grief for a person, this grief keeps walking beside you, talking to you in your sleep, asking if you remembered to move before the sprinklers kick on. You see, I meet a lot of folks on the road, some crustier than a gas station hot dog, but every so often one stands out. Clean clothes, that 1,000-yard stare, a little too polite to be seasoned yet, that's a new one, fresh to the street, and the look in their eyes, that's grief. Not grief for a lost loved one, no, but grief for a lost world, a lost self. They're staring down the barrel of a new identity, one no one chooses, and watching them unravel, stage by stage, is like watching a flower bloom backwards. So today, we're walking through the 7 psychological stages of homelessness. And yeah, it's a bit like the stages of grief. Except instead of getting casseroles from your neighbors, you get judged by strangers and harassed for loitering. First shock. Wait, this is happening? Shock isn't drama. It's not screaming in the rain. It's sitting in your car with the engine off, staring at nothing while your stomach growls and your hands shake from hunger and confusion. It's the moment the eviction notice becomes real, when you realize your storage unit is full of the things you used to need, your blender, your books, your second set of silverware, but none of it matters anymore. You think it's a joke, a clerical error. You're still in society, you still exist on paper, you just, missed a step. You'll fix this. Except you won't. And you're out of gas. That's when it clicks. No one's coming. There is no emergency contact for this. You're not in a sitcom. You're in free fall. And the world is watching but not intervening. Second denial. I'm just between situations. You tell yourself this is temporary. Like a diet. Like jury duty. You couch the truth in language that makes it sound noble. Minimalism, freedom, off-grid. You're not homeless, you're exploring alternative living. You still swipe your card like there's money on it. You make excuses for why your phone is off. You talk about travel plans, even though your world has shrunk to 1 zip code. You eat fast food and sleep in your car, but you still pay for Wi-Fi. You keep receipts. You brush your teeth in gas stations and still look both ways before jaywalking. You're trying to pretend you still belong to the machine, but the machine has already forgotten your face. And the longer you play house with your own misfortune, the more the cracks in the fantasy begin to show. Your dignity becomes a paper mask in a rainstorm. Third anger. What the hell is wrong with the world? This is when you get loud. You scream at bureaucracy. You cuss out parking meters. You talk back to inspirational quotes. Anger is the stage where you finally admit this isn't all your fault. You burn with a rage that no one warned you about, and you see red even when your world is painted in gray. You always thought there was a system for this, a net, a process, that somehow, somewhere, someone was paid to make sure this didn't happen to people like you. But then you find out the system doesn't exist to catch you. It exists to blame you, to make you feel like trash in a recycling bin, visible, sortable, ultimately disposable. You start seeing the rot in the system. The housing market isn't just tight, it's a meat grinder. Wages are stagnant, and your job application got ghosted harder than your ex. You watch billionaires launch themselves into space while you can't even afford a laundry cycle. And oh, the people. They offer advice like it's candy. Just stay positive. Have you tried budgeting? As if you haven't turned your life into a spreadsheet of survival. They think they're being helpful, but it's like being handed an umbrella after you've already drowned. 4. Bargaining. If I just, You try to game it. You chase that one Craigslist gig, that one friend who might still return your call. You do mental math with imaginary numbers. If I make $60 a day and eat only twice a week, you start making deals with God, the universe, the parking lot pigeon who won't leave you alone. You think, maybe if I just shower at Planet Fitness, wear clean jeans, and smile right, I can pass, I can blend, I can work. You try to sound upbeat during job interviews even though you haven't slept properly in a week and your shoes smell like mildew, but it's a rigged game. The boss sees the exhaustion in your eyes, the smell in your clothes. Society can smell failure like blood in the water. You bargain because you still believe the illusion of fairness, and every failed deal chips away at the last bit of hope you thought was unkillable. 5th, depression. I can't feel anything anymore. This is where the silence sets in. Your body moves, but your soul doesn't. You lose count of days. You lose interest in hope. You forget what your voice sounds like in a safe space. The world becomes muffled, like you're living inside a cardboard box, even when you're outside of one. You eat because your stomach growls, not because food means anything. You cry less. Crying takes energy. You stop brushing your hair. You stop checking your reflection. You stop calling your family back because the conversation feels like trying to hold smoke. And people say, just get help. Help is a maze of waiting lists and laminated lies. Depression out here is not a mental health diagnosis. It's a survival strategy. You conserve emotion like calories because wasting either could cost you the day. 6, testing. What if I made this work? And then something, a dry night, a warm coffee, a stranger who doesn't flinch when they look at you, and you think, what if I made this livable? Not survivable, livable. A quiet internal shift that says, okay, let's build a life with the scraps. You get creative. You learn tarp origami. You memorize library hours. You carry a phone charger like it's holy relic. You become a systems analyst of public benches and shade patterns. You start choosing where to camp based on wind direction and dew patterns like some depressed ranger in exile. It's not happiness, it's not peace, but it's function, and function is gold. You start to think like a fox in an abandoned suburb, clever and unseen. Testing is the science of grief, hypothesis, error, small wins, fewer losses. 7, acceptance. I live here now, and I'm still me. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's giving in with purpose. You stop waiting for permission. You build routine out of rubble. You know the cops by name. You fold your tarp like a Marine folds a flag. You keep your socks dry, your secrets close, and your survival sharper than most CEOs. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop dreaming of normal and start designing your normal. You find strange dignity in being invisible, resilient, quietly undefeated. You find grace in the absurd, the way sunlight hits a wet sidewalk, the weird kindness of a dog that wanders into camp and doesn't ask questions. This life scars you, it ages you, but it also strips the fake right off. You're not chasing an image anymore. You're surviving as yourself, and that's, well, it's something close to holy. You accept the road, and in some crooked way it begins to accept you back. And so yeah, 7 stages. Like grief, but louder, wetter, poorer. And if you're going through it, if you're stuck in stage 2 or drowning in 5 or somehow looping back to 1 again, I see you. I've been all 7. I might be on stage 8 by now. Who knows, maybe there's a stage where you just become a cryptid and live in a culvert until the raccoons elect you mayor. But here's the real truth. Homelessness doesn't end when you get a roof. It ends when you stop disappearing. And the road, for all its cruelty, doesn't lie to you. It doesn't pity you. It sees you. I'm Hobo Yeti. I don't offer solutions. I offer witness. And that, my friends, might just be the first brick in a better world. I hope your road is a good one. And if you're homeless, I hope it doesn't suck for you.